We are back with Lunch and Learn. We took a 2-week break because we had some exciting professional learning going on with our upcoming hybrid opening. Today, I am fortunate to have 3 incredible elementary principals joining me for a talk about how the first week of hybrid opening went. So I'm going to turn it over to them to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tara Outland, the proud principal of the amazing Great Gators at Creekside Elementary.
And I am Melody Griffin, the very proud principal of Florence Bowser Elementary School, home of the Eagles.
Hello, everyone. I'm Candace Myrick, proud principal at Oakland Elementary School, home of the Braves, and I'm excited to be here with you.
All right, well, I can't thank these ladies enough because I am pulling them and taking their time in the middle of our hybrid opening week for elementary school. Just wanted to have some kind of informal conversations with them as we prepare for our secondary opening, and also to share some tips with our other elementary school staff members as well. So the first question I have for you all is, what are some successes that have happened so far with the first week of hybrid?
I'll jump in and start. I'd have to say the staff at Creekside has really stepped up to make this a very successful reopening. It's been all hands on deck. When we found out we were coming back on March 15th, you can't do it all by yourself, so you start delegating. So a lot of committees were formed, and they were formed of groups of paraprofessionals, teachers, other people throughout the building. They were all assigned different tasks, and they came up with the procedures that needed to be rolled out with input from their colleagues in the building. And I must say, it's proven to be very successful at Creekside. The staff truly has embraced another change, just like we did back in the beginning of the year. So I'd have to say that that's one of the successes. There are many. I know my colleagues here have several, but the fact that we have support from SAO in our buildings every day, all day, has made a big difference too.
And I would say that the teachers and the students have quickly established and are following routines and procedures. We have established a system for arrival and dismissal, which has been very successful. Everything that we've implemented, they've adhered to, and the students are following the directions that we're providing for them. I think one of the greatest things that I can say is that we've experienced day 2 of cohort A, and we are in day 2 of cohort B. And I can honestly say that we have effective instruction that's taking place, and the students are engaged and they are participating in wonderful learning experiences. And so if I had to say what's a success, that is our greatest success at this moment.
Right. I have to agree. Students as a success, students are adjusting so beautifully. But in addition to that, I think a success here at Oakland, we opened with a theme. The greatest school on earth was our theme, and we used carnival style items to decorate, staff dressed in character. And this just added some fun and excitement to the return to the building for students and staff. So that was a great success. And one thing that we were concerned about separate from that was students showing up on the wrong day. So we only had 2 students to show up on the wrong day. So that was a great success as well for us.
I will piggyback on the students aspect of it. You know, we were concerned about wearing masks, keeping masks on, following CDC guidelines. And Ms. Griffin and Ms. Myrick, I would have to agree that our students have really stepped up, and they are following what we're implementing as far as CDC guidelines. And engagement, I think the kids were so excited to come back. They were ready to do whatever to be engaged, from pre-K all the way up through 5th grade. So yeah, the excitement is there, and that's the success.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's so exciting to hear. So with that being said, how about some challenges that you've had to address or work through, perhaps?
All right, Ms. Griffin, I'm gonna give you guys credit over there at Bowser, because Creekside has never done car tags with the population that we have. We have over 200 afternoon pickups. and with parking lot procedures, and we've just never tackled that aspect of dismissal. And with the support of Miss Griffin, some input we got from your school, we have successfully, it's day 4, like she said, we are successfully implementing car tag pickup in the front of Creekside. And I will say, yes, I stepped out of that. I have to give kudos to Miss Little and her team. We even have videos posted on Creekside's website. So the first couple of days we had to step back, reflect a little bit, but I'm gonna just tell you, it was paraprofessionals, support staff, everybody chipping in, making sure, hey, if we do this, this would happen. Maybe we should have a holding spot. Maybe we need a video so parents can see. We even did a video for teachers on how to use a live Google Doc so they could see the numbers of the students being popped up. So, it's a team effort in Suffolk. It's not just one school. I know we took what Ms. Griffin had in place. We've adapted it to Creekside with the input of all of our staff. So what seemed to be a challenge and something we really hadn't embraced in the past has actually, it was a stumbling block for one day, but we're on it. So thanks, Ms. Griffin over at Bowser.
I'm so glad to hear that, because the drop-off program, the pickup program, it can be a challenge, but like Tara said, if you push through it, one thing that I tell the staff all the time, you got to go through the rough to get to the smooth. And so if you can get through that rough, we'll get to the smooth. So I'm glad to know that it's working for you. For us at Florence Bowser, I will tell you one thing that's been a challenge, and not really a challenge, but if I had to put a pulse on what is a challenge, I would say parents are unsure of whether they want to be hybrid or virtual. So we are still running into that challenge where we're getting the calls daily to say, well, I thought I wanted them to be hybrid, but I really want them to be virtual, or vice versa. So we're running into the challenge where parents are calling to see if they can make the change, or life has changed for parents. And so now they've adjusted to the virtual world. And so they're saying, I've already arranged my schedule to be virtual, so can I just stay virtual although I selected hybrid? So we're still running into that challenge. In addition to that, something that goes along with that is because they don't always remember that they've selected they're going to be a parent drop-off or pickup, and they think they have transportation that's coming, and so that becomes a challenge because they want to change, and with transportation you can't just make that change readily. It's a process and you have to wait for that. So I think for us, that's been the biggest challenge, which has really, if I had to be honest with you, we were prepared for that. So even when something is a challenge, you just have to have a plan to execute it. So we were prepared for the fact that they may want to change from hybrid to virtual or virtual to hybrid. And we were prepared for if they decided that they want to be in the car rider program rather than riding the bus. So preparation has helped us to balance that.
Right, I have to agree. That was going to be my biggest challenge as well. And then also, I think the biggest challenge was doing the planning process. Like right now, we're having fun. The kids are here, we're enjoying them. The planning part was the biggest challenge. But I guess in addition to that, just figuring out how to make sure that you have engaging instruction while still remaining safe with all of the COVID protocols, which we talked about during the planning process. But the teachers here at Oakland have come up with so many creative ideas and ways to do that. One that comes to mind was one of my second grade teachers, Ms. Sherman. She has her students sit in hula hoops, and they sit in these hula hoops to kind of get a feel for what they would have had as carpet time, but it helps them to stay in their ring, which goes along with our theme. So they stay in their ring, socially distanced from each other, but still having that carpet time feel. So that's how we kind of overcame that challenge. But it's been fun these past few days.
I will say one of those other challenges, and it's something we've seen more at the elementary level. You probably see it at the high school level too. Kids still want that hug. They still want that. They're used to coming up, giving us a high five, giving us a hug. And that's hard because you have to
Yes.
set those boundaries. So you're quick to reach with an elbow, a foot, a big smize because they're seeing your eyes, or a big woohoo, your back. But that is challenging because that's a natural behavior that's inbred in us, and something, we teach kids to be kind and generous, and you just want to hug them, and you just want to give them that high five to let them know you're glad they're back. And that's a challenge when you have to step back, because that's not natural.
Absolutely. That was a challenge here, and we knew it was going to be a challenge. So we actually, at the bus ramp, we wore hula hoops strapped to us. And so we had a hula hoop around us to help to demonstrate that we were staying in our ring. And we practiced different greetings as well with students that we can use.
That's great. I would definitely think at least high fives and things like that at the secondary level are still going to be sorely missed. So, well, great. Sounds like the challenges have been there, but you all are working through them. So I appreciate you sharing that. Let's talk about teachers and instructional staff. What's advice that you would give to teachers on how to continue moving forward with hybrid, whether it's elementary teachers who are continuing on or secondary teachers who are getting ready to come back hybrid?
I would say, so it's not overwhelming. Something I've practiced, and it can go for teachers or administrators, is a just for today list. Make your to-do list, stick to it, prioritize it, or you can become overwhelmed, especially right before school starts. Patience, finding self-care at any level. You have to find out, when you're at that level, to stop and practice a little, box breathing, walk away, listen to music. It can be stressful because it's an unknown. I mean, we're all embarking on something we've never done before, which is reopening in a hybrid situation. And whether you're at central office, in an administrator position, at a teacher position, I would charge everybody with finding what is it that helps you with self-care, mindfulness. What is it that you can step away for 5 minutes and just kind of breathe and then refocus, because it can be overwhelming. And you have to know that some things aren't in your control. You're going to complete a form one way one day, and the next day we're going to ask you for different information, same information, but in a different way. Just be prepared that you're going to get the curveballs. You're going to feel like you're juggling those balls all in the air, and just know you got to be flexible and roll with it, and that you're not really in control of everything. Focus on those things you are in control of, and let that be on your to-do list for that day. So self-care is very important. I charge everyone with finding what works for you. Ms. Griffin, I know you like to walk. I see you in a lot of our Virgin Pulse challenges. I too find that as one of mine. And I'm competitive too. I think you are as well. Ms. Myrick, you too.
Me?
So, So, how it works. The district has set out some things to help us with self-care, but you have to find what works for you. And you have to make that part of your routine no matter what, so that you're able to focus and move forward with what has to be done. And know that you're not always in control.
Tara, I don't think I'm competitive.
I'm not either.
But I've been told that I have the wrong impression of what competitiveness is if I don't think I am. So I have a threefold answer. I will say to elementary folks that are already in this and they're working in this, I would say to them, remember, you have already established relationships and rapport with many of your students because you've already been seeing them, even it was through the lens of a computer camera. So you already have relationships built and established. Now you maybe just are adding a few more students to your roster. So you just have a few new ones that you have to get to know. Take the time to do that. To secondary, I would say to you all, your students are anxiously waiting. They're waiting to meet you in person or virtually, however they're going to connect with you. They, just like you, they don't know what to expect at first. They don't know what they're going to be getting, and they are going to try to make the adjustments. Learn to make the adjustments together. And to everyone, I would say, be patient with yourself. Trust that you have everything it takes to make this work for you and for your students. You've been doing this. You are still going to be able to do this. Proceed like you know that you can.
That was awesome. I won't add too much to that, but I think at the elementary level, instructionally, we can definitely take advantage of the smaller classroom settings that we have through the hybrid model. Not to be afraid of finding safe ways to use manipulatives and finding activities for students that are not necessarily on a computer, so students can take advantage of those opportunities. And then I definitely agree with the things that have been stated, to have fun with the kids. Don't forget to breathe, and show others grace, but also extend grace to yourself as well.
Great advice. Thank you so much. So my last question, we touched on this just a little bit, but again, as we mentioned, secondary is coming back on Monday. What advice would you give specifically to your secondary colleagues as they prepare for arguably one of the most wild first days of school? So we have first day of school jitters. Now we have hybrid first day of school jitters. So what additional advice and suggestions would you give to our secondary colleagues?
So I would say make plan A, make plan B, and be flexible, because probably neither one of those is going to work, or it's not going to be what you visioned in your head, but it's okay, because you can't do it all. You need to call on the teachers, the staff in your building. You need to delegate. Work as a team. Work as a team. Ms. Griffin already said, we all have what it takes. Now just put it all together. Delegate your duties and trust each other. You have to trust that your colleagues are going to do what's in the best interest of students at any level. And you're going to have to trust that they can come up with ideas and solutions to some of those problems that are going to pop up on those first days of school. And the biggest thing is this, and I saw it on Monday: feed off of the positive energy that's coming through your doorways. Take time to enjoy that positive energy, because I hadn't felt as good as I felt in a year until this Monday, when everybody came in, everybody was excited. The balloons were out, the welcome signs were there. Everybody was just in their spot, willing to help. Just feed off of that, because if you can continue that all year, it's going to be a success. You've got it. It'll happen. They used to tell us that the goal was get them in, feed them, and get them home. And if you can do that, it's success on that first day.
Well, I will piggyback on that, Tara, and I will say the same thing to my secondary colleagues that I sent to my elementary colleagues on our first day. When challenges come, because they will, and you remember something that you forgot at the last minute, because you will, remind yourself that you've got this. Remind yourself that you have opened schools many times before, whether it is the building you are currently in or a different building at a different time. You made it through that opening, and you will make it through this one as well. The final thing I would say is remember the reason you do this. Remember your why. Remind yourself that the students that will come in the door, this will make a difference for them. This will be what has encouraged them, and it will be what encourages and reminds you that you do indeed have this.
That was beautiful. I think the only thing that I would add is just, it's okay if things move a little slower. I think one thing that COVID has probably taught all of us through this process is that it's okay if we slow down, because during this time we've been forced to slow down. So just to have patience with things if they're moving a little slower. However, don't hold up our buses, because they have been on time this whole week. buses have been great at the elementary level. We've been out of here 4:15. So don't hold up our buses. I'm just playing.
Thank you, Candace. I appreciate
Actually, you're not,
it.
Miss Myrick. You're telling it right. We want our buses on time.
They have been great this week. But seriously, just to have patience. And then one thing, not just for Monday, but over the long run, is just check in with each other. One thing that I told staff here is that pick one person each day that you are going to check on. And you don't necessarily have to tell that person that you're checking on them, but just have in your mind one person and take the time to check on them. Everyone's social and emotional well-being is so important right now. So I just think it's important that if we're all checking on one person, then everybody will be checked on, daily. And I just think that's a great thing to have in place for everyone's well-being.
Candace, I agree. We have that in place with Share Buddies through our self-care committee, and they are checking in. We remind them on our weekly bulletin, this is, check in with your Share Buddy.
Good.
To make sure. So
yeah.
It'll happen. Look, we're all smiling.
Yes.
Can I say this, Dr. Kolb? I think the greatest gift I got this week was the gift of the sound of children.
Yes.
It was amazing just to stand at the front door and on the bus ramp and hear the sound of children. And you don't even realize how often you've missed it until you hear it. And so that's been the greatest gift for us, I think, and I can speak for myself and I can speak for Mrs. Riddick, because we've talked about just the sound of children moving has been amazing. Not that they've been loud, because they've been very quiet and they've been very calm.
They have.
Just to know that they're here, and the good morning and the just their presence has made a difference.
You can see a lot through their eyes.
Yes, you can.
They light up.
I agree.
Well, I can't thank you all enough for your time. I'm ready to go. Put me in, Coach. This is great. So thank you all. I'm really excited to share this advice and feedback. It was incredibly inspirational. I think it'll be great for our elementary and secondary colleagues. So thank you again so much for your time today.
Thank
you.
Thank you.